Great. So before I share screen and start with the slides, let's do a little bit of centering. Is everybody able to close their eyes? Gisela, if you are driving, please do not close your eyes. And if you are able, just close your eyes. You can put your palms on your heart, and let's take a few deep breaths in. Do this breathing the way it comes comfortable for you. You can inhale, exhale through your nose, or inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Really, all I want you to be able to relax and bring all your energy back into your body. Call your energy from everywhere where it got scattered this morning. Call it back into your physical body and ask it to help you be present. Take one more deep breath in. Hold it at the top. Exhale. You can let go with a sigh if you need to. We're calling upon our guardians, angels, universe, God, whatever you connect to, it doesn't really matter what name we give, to the higher power, to help us be present for the next hour, to receive the information I will deliver with the knowing that information is potential power, which means it gives us the opportunity to act on that information or knowledge and to transform our lives. If it stops at the point of just knowledge, it doesn't help us very much. There is no shortage of knowledge and information. We can Google everything. Yet, what is more important than acquiring more knowledge and more information is taking time to act on the information, to take steps to implement. So let this hour be an hour of knowledge and inspiration for action taking, so we understand what detoxification is, what a safe and effective protocol is comprised of, and how we can engage in a protocol like this with the support that I'm offering throughout the 1 month Age in Reverse Detox program. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. It is done and we are ready. If you're ready, you can rub your palms together, do a clap, open your eyes if you were with your eyes closed, and let's get started. I'm not sure if I'm going to sit down or stand up, but I'll change if I need to. Now I have to figure out how I share screen. What do I share? Google Chrome or desktop documents? That's always a problem. Let's do desktop share. Last time I didn't like how it shared. It showed, oh, look at that. I have open totally what I didn't want to have open. This, go away. Allow. Zoom is requesting to bypass the system private window. Access screen audio. Allow. But I need to close. This is crazy. I can't close this. Oh, now I can. Close this and go to slideshow. So now, do you ladies see my full screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you see also your icons or just my name? Oh, that's how I have it, just my name tag on the right corner. I would love it if you don't see anything but my screen. Is that right or no?
I just see the people as well, you know,
Oh.
little.
But we
Yeah, I
can,
don't
I
know.
think that's on us. We can make this, we can remove the pictures if we want to.
Okay.
It's just like your picture, your face, my face, Jillian's
Okay.
face.
If you can remove, on my end is removed, I only see my name. If you want to, that would be a better recording for when you ladies want to watch the recording, or in the future if we have people watching the recording. So I will go ahead and start. It's already 11:17, so I want to keep it to an hour max, 1 hour and a half. Today, we are talking about the Age in Reverse Detoxification program. And at the end, you will be able to answer whether this is a valid healing tool or is just, a scam or a fad. So what I'm going to cover today is answering what is detoxification, help you understand if you are toxic and how do you know if you're toxic. What is a properly designed detoxification? And of course, full disclaimer, introduction to the Age in Reverse Detox program, which starts March 2025. But who I am and why should you listen to me? I think all of you here know me, maybe Jillian a little bit less than the rest of you. So I will briefly introduce myself. I am the founder of Healing with Foods, women's coaching practice, and the creator of the Age in Reverse Detox program, which is a science-backed, holistic, whole foods approach to health and aging in reverse, because that's the mantra of this year. We age backwards and we live forward. And I hope you love it and you want it. So I am passionate about everything health and healing in the most natural way. In fact, my approach to health is very ancestral. But when it comes to detox, there is no ancestral detox approach. It's pretty much whole foods and science-backed or based. I believe that aging, just like disease process, is an accumulation of as a result of many factors, one of which is a buildup of toxic overload in our body. So detoxification is one of the key elements in getting our health and energy back. And today, that's exactly what we are going to learn. In terms of credentials, I have a veterinary degree from Romania, a master's in nutrition from what's that university in Florida? I forgot the name. FIU in Florida. I am also a registered dietitian and holistic coach, and I have a bunch of other certifications, which I'm not going to bore you with right now. You can ask me about those at another time. I am the creator of the hexagon of unaging, which I have not revealed yet. That's going to be revealed in this summer. The Unage framework, which those of you that did the workshop last month are already familiar with, and the Cure framework. By the way, I forgot when I created the sales page for the March Detox group program. In the Facebook group, you also have access to the Cure, Find Your Cure program as a bonus. Included, it's a program I delivered 2 or 3 years ago when I ran one of those detox group programs. I'm also the author of the book Make Peace with Fat. I'm featured in several publications, Huffington Post, Elephant Journal, Life Extension, and some other local news stations. And I help many clients transform their health and well-being throughout the years. I've been working either as a dietitian in a hospital or outpatient clinic or in my private practice for over 16 years. With that being said, we're going to start our detox class. But before, I'm going to ask for your participation. Please choose the correct answer. A, B, C, or D. Food has nothing to do with how I look and feel. Food is just a source of calories and it adds joy and pleasure to my life. Being toxic has very little to do with being obese or overweight, having diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer, autoimmunity, fatigue, pain, inflammation, and the list goes on, or none of the above. So please unmute yourself and answer, because I don't want to get out of the screen to read your chat.
D. I'm saying D.
D, none of the above. Anybody else? D,
D.
D. Anybody else?
E.
D.
Yes.
I think everybody answered. If somebody didn't answer and you still want to answer, we are taking your answer. I should have made a poll. Next time I'll do that. Your ladies are all correct. You are already on your way to reversing your other than the best status through using food as medicine. So now I want to do a little bit of history of detoxification, because we think of detoxification as being something of our modern industrialized living. And indeed, it did take off during this industrialized era, since we have modern medicine and Western medicine, but is actually an old concept and has been documented as long ago as in old Ayurvedic texts, which are going, I think, probably 5,000 years ago or 5,000 years back. So detoxification is actually a built-in mechanism that our body possesses, with liver being the main organ involved in the detoxification process, but other organs of the body, such as kidney, intestine, skin, and lung, are also involved. In fact, every cell of the body participates in the detox process, but those are the main key players. And why we need to talk about detoxifying on purpose, not only what the body is capable of doing on its own during our time, is because, as you're gonna see in future slides, we are bombarded with toxins from every corner of our lives, from the inside and from the outside. So I would say we live in a soup of toxins. But first, let's define what toxins are. And if you have any questions, please write them down, and then we'll answer at the end, so I don't have to mess up with the slides and lose the flow. So toxins are really any substances that have a harmful effect on our body. And they are of two categories. True toxins are actually the substances that are naturally produced and found in nature, like the toxins coming from mushrooms or from certain plants, or the venom of a snake, or the toxins that come with mold. So it's a natural compound, but is foreign to the body and it causes harm. Toxicants are man-made products, artificial, synthetic chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, flame retardants, pretty much all the chemicals that have been introduced to our life after World War II. We'll talk about that in a second. To use just one general term, we would say xenobiotics are toxins and toxicants. They are substances that are foreign to the human body and are causing harm. They are not beneficial. So continuing with the history of toxins, we know that after World War II, the chemicals which were used in weaponry, like making bombs and bullets and whatever they made in World War II to kill people, when was no longer a need for them, they were diverted to the agricultural use, agriculture and food later on. So how do we know toxins are a real problem? Is because there are many organizations that focus on studying toxins. We have the field of toxicology. We have societies that their main focus is understanding what toxins are out there, their nature, how they get into the body, and in which way they affect the body. And here I have some examples For instance, American Chemical Society registered over 100,000 different chemicals. The Environmental Protection Agency found over 85,000 chemicals to be toxic to human and the planet. There are several national and global organizations, like I said, that study the effect of toxins on environment and human and animal health. This is an interesting study. It's a small sample, only 10 newborns were examined in 2005. But what they found, Environmental Working Group did this study, and they found 287 different types of chemicals in the umbilical cord of the newborn. And it's stratified. 180 were carcinogenic, 270 neurotoxic, and 208 considered teratogenic. Teratogenic means causes birth defects. So when we wonder how can a young baby have cancer, or how can it be have behavioral problems from birth on, right? When we think we all come healthy, which naturally we all come healthy in the world, but unfortunately the exposure to toxins begins in the womb. So that's just to illustrate how important it is for us to be aware that we live in a toxic environment and we have to do something about it to preserve our health and prevent for such diseases like cancer, for instance, to happen in our life or the ones we love. So another unfriendly number here, we inhale over 500 environmental chemicals daily at home, and especially in urban areas. So this is a study by Walls, says the U.S. government, a U.S. government EPA study looked at the breath that people in urban New Jersey exhale. What they found in their breath was scary. Chemicals that are known to be causing diseases. So in this breath analysis, they found a scary array, right? A variety of chemicals that are responsible for chronic diseases. For example, if you have to use dry cleaning clothing, please search the ones that use biodegradable, whatever chemical is used for dry cleaning. So it's less toxic because, look, they found that just wearing a newly dry cleaned suit can give you measurable levels of trichloroethylene in your bloodstream. And a good practice to do is to take them off the bag and let them outside in air. So some of those compounds are volatile and they will evaporate. So more statistics. I'm sorry, I'm kind of breathing the mood down here, but just to bring the point. CDC in 2006 found that the average American has 116 to 148 synthetic compounds in their body. So this is an adult. The other one was in children. Actually, was in newborns. So those compounds were found everywhere, basically in human milk, which you will understand when we talk about the detox. We do eliminate toxins through human milk. So that's why we always say when a nursing mom, we say your milk is as good as your health and as your diet, because through the milk, we pass out what the body doesn't need. We do that through placenta. So often, if you look in a family with more than one child, the first child, if the mother does not do a proper preparation before she becomes pregnant, all the toxins, or many of the toxins that the mother holds in her body, will be passed to the newborn through the placenta. So we found an umbilical cord, like we mentioned, also in the blood, body fat of newborns. We find those toxins because they're passed on. So nursing or pregnant or getting ready to become pregnant, definitely do a detox. But if you are nursing or are pregnant, no, you do not want to do a purposeful detox, because then you affect your child. So all of these numbers are showing us that the body is exposed to an avalanche of toxins, which exceeds the natural capacity of the body to eliminate the toxins. If we think, I always like to go to ancestrals, and we'll see in a second when I show the sources, our ancestors did not have the environmental or lifestyle exposure to toxins which we have today. So the natural built-in detox mechanisms was able back in the days 100,000 years ago, maybe even 10,000 years ago, when humans settled and agriculture became the new way of living. They did not have the amount of exposure we have today. Therefore, the body was able to eliminate the toxins it acquired, and the toxins did not affect the health of the people. Today, because we are overloaded, we say we have a toxic overburden. It's impossible for the body to naturally eliminate all the toxins. Therefore, we need on purpose 1, 2, 3 times, 4 times a year. You can do this even once a month if you are really in great need for detoxing. Support the body to reduce this toxic overload. So the toxins, or the xenobiotics, but everybody is used to hearing toxins. That's why I keep referring to them as toxins. But before we understood that the nomenclature is slightly different if you want to be correct. So they come from our environment, lifestyle, and internally produced. So environment, polluted air from factories or auto exhaust. So people that live in highly dense populated urban areas have more exposure to environmental pollutants than someone that lives in a more remote area that's far from congested traffic or factories. Then we have all sorts of solvents that come from painting our walls and cleaning products and beauty care and anything that we use basically to clean, to moisturize, to apply air purifiers, not purifiers, they are the one that people put in their outlets, air fresheners or softeners in the laundry, etc. All of that is a solvent that's a type of chemical. Heavy metals, we are exposed to heavy metals including from the food we consume. Pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, again, everything is sprayed and treated, so we cannot escape it. Radiation of foods, and again, inhaling those volatile compounds. Lifestyle, and so going back to this slide, we see that these type of toxicants were not part of the ancestral man. When our ancestors were roaming the earth, looking for food to hunt or to gather roots or nuts or berries, none of this existed. Now, lifestyle toxicants, same, totally new to our new modern industrialized way of living. Nicotine, alcohol, recreational drugs, prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs. Then we move into the food. Food is ultra-processed and processed, so uses artificial food additives, colorings, preservative, dyes, flavorings, etc. Even the meat we consume today, especially if we're unable to find meats from local farmers who grass-fed and forest raise their animals, we buy meats coming from confined operation systems, and those are often treated with antibiotics to survive their unsanitary conditions. They are given growth hormones and steroids to enhance and speed up growth for more profit. So there we have it. Even the meat we consume is contaminated. I already mentioned refined foods or processed foods and refined sugars, and just our dietary choices. And quite frankly, it is nearly impossible, even if you go to the best restaurants, to get food that's cooked with natural animal fat, butter, or lard, or tallow. Vegetable and seed oils became the standard, the preferred, the so-called better way of fat for cooking, and those are extremely toxic to our human body. And finally, we have the internal toxins, and this come from bacteria, parasites, or fungus that we have. So gut health is extremely important, having a balance, oral and gut flora, vaginal flora, all of that is super important to minimize the internal production of toxins that come from those guys who inhabit our body, or we inhabit their collective cell, because they are more than us if we're to look at cell numbers. Then we have the byproducts of our metabolic reactions. Just by digesting food, we are producing certain gases like carbon dioxide, ammonia, hormone metabolization of hormones. It leads to byproducts that can have toxic effect, and depending again on the state of the gut health and overall health, you may or may not be able to clear those byproducts of normal metabolism, so they may or may not affect your health. Undigested food, it goes back to the state of the gut, leaky gut, and dysbiosis. Those are all. So we can say that when it comes to internal toxins, the key factor is the state of your gut. Having a healthy, sealed, and healed gut with proper balanced gut flora is key to minimizing the absorption of internal toxins, the production and the absorption. Then we have stress. Stress is a silent corrosive killer. Stress and lack of sleep, they can go together. I won't say that lack of sleep acts as a toxic element, but definitely doesn't help detoxify. So when it comes to stress, emotional toxicity is just as detrimental as the physical toxicity. So unresolved trauma or abuse, whether it comes from childhood or adulthood, is an extremely toxic element. And then even unhappy relationships, and I even put in bold here, with self. The most important relationship we have to heal is the relationship with ourselves, because we spend 24 hours out of 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year with ourselves. So we better have a healthy relationship with self, loving and compassionate. And then all the other relationships will also need to fall into place to minimize emotional toxicity. Okay, so what we learned so far. We live in a toxic environment, and feel free to unmute yourself after I do this mini recap and tell me if you agree with this. We live in a toxic environment. Our modern, I always say, humans, biologically, we are no different than our ancestral men and women. But our environment is drastically different. And because it's this mismatch or misalignment between our biology and our environment, we suffer all the chronic diseases and we see today, from birth to grave. And it speeds up our way to grave. We don't have to get to grave faster or in a decline state of health. But that's the key, a mismatch between our biology and our environment. So my role is to help you optimize your environment to match the biology. So we live in a toxic environment. Toxins are found, again, in our human body from birth to grave. We do have a built-in detox mechanism, but unfortunately, it is overwhelmed and unable to keep up with the demand. And there are 3 sources of xenobiotics: environmental, lifestyle, and internal. We have control over most of them. That's the good news. So can you think of an action step you can take today? And I put here 2 journaling prompts or introspective questions. Am I exposed to toxins from my environment, my food, or my lifestyle? So now you can take some time, not now during the class, after the class, take some time and go over the environmental toxins and see how much exposure you have from the environment, How about the food, and how about from your lifestyle? I didn't even mention the internal because that's a little bit more difficult for you to assess on your own. And the other question, what can I do starting today to reduce my exposure to toxins? As we're going to see in the next part of this workshop or class, is the first step in a proper detoxification is to reduce the exposure, to reduce the influx of toxins. We want to kind of put a shelter around us so less comes in. And then the second step is we begin to dump out what's already accumulated in the body. So if you want to unmute and tell me if you want to comment anything on this part, I'll be happy to.
I can comment. I've slowly, because I've been more aware of this, like I do not buy candles, I do not have air fresheners. I use wool dryer balls. I took
Yes.
away my aluminum from, and literally while we were talking, I had been looking at changing my utensils to 18/0, so I just ordered them.
You mean
be-
for cooking?
for eating. They should be 18/0 as
Oh, I
opposed
don't
to
even
8.
know what I have. Good
Yeah,
point.
I don't know what
Because
I have either, but
stainless
I'm
steel.
just
Cookware is a
buying.
big one
Yeah,
also.
I took away all my plastics already. I'm using the enamel pots, the Teflon. But like you said, it's so prevalent, and in things that we think are innocuous. Like I told my husband, it's like, okay, no more bounce, and no more this. And he's looking at me like, oh my God, this woman's not gonna let me do anything pretty soon. But
I
I
hope
think
you
it's
don't
like
hate me.
it's like what you said. Our body is meant to clear it out, but it's so much that the body, which is, it goes with the food, that's why the autoimmune disease is terrible. What you mentioned about the kids and the cancer, like really, I mean, even with the amalgam fillings, remember I had them removed?
Yeah.
They told me that affected my baby already, Oh, she's 22
Because
now, but
mercury leaches, yeah.
yeah, so it's just funny how, because I do think it's like, why do all these little kids, when you
Yeah.
watch the St. Luke's, it's like, they have brain tumors, and it's like, what? And you're right, it's, that maybe that person's body can't clear it out as well or
It's
better.
one aspect, yes. Because then
Yeah, well,
it's like a puzzle. We have that. We have the vaccines on top of a toxic body.
yes,
Brings more. An immune compromise, poor diet, lack of nature, like getting out in nature in the sun, smothering sunscreen all over. I mean, it's so much, but we can't let ourselves become overwhelmed. It's good to have like a boom
plan. Well, maybe we do one thing at
awakening,
a time. Every
and then
day,
take
like I
one
said,
thing.
yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, Gloria. Anybody else would like to ask any? Now you can ask a question because then we move to the next phase. Any comments or questions? I'm happy to.
Yeah, I started small, so I feel like there's a lot to overcome, but I started filtering my water finally, which was a big one. And then trying to eat just organic. But it's so
Huge.
expensive right now. And I have a 14-year-old boy who's supposed to be eating like
A lot.
160 grams of protein a day. So it's tricky, but I'm figuring it out. And I think just that, and then like taking a walk without my shoes on and being outside in the sun and in the grass and just getting away from like screens. And I realized it yesterday, I forget where I was, what I was doing, and it was so loud, and the traffic and the lights and the computer in the car and the computer in your hand, and your brain, I feel like I just want to go sit like on an ocean. Just,
Yeah.
it's very loud, and I feel sorry for the kids because we hand them these little phones and then they're just like ping pong balls all day long, like distracted. Look over here, look over here. It's like no wonder they all are struggling with what we think is ADHD. I mean, I don't think
Right.
that's a thing, but it's a lot. It's a very toxic, and I mean, where do you not find it at? Like I'm even struggling like television, radio, me. I'm like just instrumental. It's very hard to slow down my mind.
We have to make a conscious effort. There's no
Yeah.
other way. If we just if we go with the current, it's impossible not to just go with the plan and just be oblivious to what's happening and say, oh, I'm just getting older. Of course, it has to be like that. We've got to make a conscious effort and decision to step out of that and go a little bit against the grain or the stream.
Yeah.
And yes, is it difficult at first? Of course, because it's a learning curve. We've got to learn how to live a different life. We got to create a new identity. We got to find new friends, new companionship. That's why I absolutely love holding the groups with my women. We have the Empowered Women Collective, and I was sharing a video about the importance of walking. And the month-long detox, instead of just say, okay, get the content, watch it, do it on your own. We need the community. We can't do this in isolation. It's too difficult.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, are we good? Should we move on?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay. So part 2, still talking about toxins. That now I want to get this will transition into understanding the detox we are talking about doing in March. So to do that, we have to understand that chemically speaking, toxins are of different nature. We have water-soluble toxins, fat-soluble, and volatile. Water-soluble mean they're dissolved in water. They come in through, usually they come in through food and water, and they are easily eliminated, quicker, easier, eliminated. They kind of pass through the body. They don't tend to linger. So via urine, sweat, milk, seminal fluid, all the bodily fluids, saliva, tears. So please cry. And when you cry, think, oh my gosh, a good amount of toxins are leaving my body, usually of emotional nature. Then we have the fat-soluble ones. Those are the tricky ones. Those are the ones that are persistent. We call them persistent organic pollutants. They tend to persist in the environment, and once they get in our body, they persist in our body. And our body, in its wisdom, it doesn't allow them to just be in the blood and then get to different organs and cause havoc. At least at the beginning, the body tries to take those persistent organic pollutants, fat soluble in nature, and sequester them inside our fat cells. So in the detox world, we have this phrase where we say that the solution to pollution is dilution. In other words, the body will take the toxins, put them in the fat cells. So if a person has difficulty losing weight, has a lot of fat accumulated on their body, and they cannot lose it, chances are they accumulate so much toxicity in their fat cells that the body does not want to release them into the bloodstream if the body doesn't have the bandwidth, figuratively speaking, to clear those toxins out. So we see that when we support the body to detoxify, specifically the liver, we are able to break the fat cells and get rid of those toxins. And that's why I'm a huge advocate of a properly designed detox. Fasting in that state is not beneficial. Even detox or fasting are not beneficial if the gut is not healthy enough, because again, we need a healthy gut and a strong immune in order for our body to be able to deal with the toxins. And then we have the volatile. Those are the ones that usually we inhale, and those are the ones that come from like the paints and the flame retardants, things like that. And they kind of come in and out also with a little bit more ease. So how do they enter in our body? It's oral ingestion, nasal inhalation, we breathe them in, and transdermal. That's why what you put on your skin, it better be edible. If it's not, you add more toxins to your body because it absorbs through the skin into the bloodstream. Think of how many times maybe you go to a doctor and they prescribe a pain, or you can even go over the counter and you get those creams, anti-inflammatory or pain creams for joints. Why would you put a cream on the joint if it doesn't absorb to help, right? Because it absorbs, that's why. So the body lotion, the face cream, the makeup, anything you put on your body is going to get absorbed into the bloodstream, and it actually bypasses the liver. So in some ways is worse than the one that goes oral. When it goes through the oral route, it still has a chance to be filtered through the gut if the gut is sealed. And of course, it gets to the liver, and the liver, if it's able to, will clear out the toxins. So could these be signs of toxicity? Pretty much anything that happens in the body, it's a sign of toxicity. It happens in the body that's, of course, not healthy. And I hope all of you got the MSQ questionnaire. That's the tool I use in the detox and with all my private clients. It is extremely simple to implement. It's questions that you ask about yourself for the last, how you felt in the last 48 hours or the last 30 days. And it helps you, first of all, it helps develop awareness. So you become more aware of your body. And it helps, it gives you scores on every system of the body, and where the numbers are higher, it's an indication that those are your weaker links. Those are the links where you have more inflammation and more toxin accumulation. So those are the systems that you want to support to eliminate toxins, reduce inflammation, and eventually reverse, it will help you reverse diseases. So whether it's digestion problems, elevated cholesterol, inability to lose or gain weight, allergies, atopies, autoimmunity, even plain old fatigue and pain, mood swings, dark circle under your eyes, that's usually a sign of allergies, and of course, toxicity. Blood sugar imbalances, when you cannot control, either you go hypoglycemic or hyperglycemic, asthma, frequent flus and colds and sinus infections, those are toxicity, and immune compromisation, muscle and joint pain, fibromyalgia, insomnia, chemical sensitivities, the list goes on really. Pretty much any chronic disease has toxicity as one of its root causes. It's not the only one, but it's one of. So how do we know we are toxic? Should we do lab tests? There are many lab tests, functional lab tests that will assess for toxicity, either using blood samples, urine samples, hair, nail analysis. Those are not, I would say, snapshots in time. Hair and nail is a little bit better in the sense that it gives you about a 3-month average. What happened in the last 3 months? How much heavy metal? Usually is for minerals and heavy metals is the used the hair and nail analysis, and for hormones. It will tell you what your body stores in the last 3 months. But all in all these tests are just snapshots in times. And after time, even if you have the toxins, they may not be present at any given moment in any of those elements. So you do not get a true accurate picture. The best, of course, would be to do tissue biopsies and bone biopsies. But of course, nobody wants to do that. That would be quite crazy. The best way to assess toxicity is, as I mentioned, is through a well-designed formulated questionnaire. And my favorite one is the medical symptom questionnaire, the one that I sent to you. I hope you all got it. And if you didn't do it, take time to do it. Especially, we want to do it before, at the start of the program, and we do it at the end of the program, because you want to objectively measure the transformation your body goes through. How you will see that score on all the categories and the total score going down with every subsequent detoxification you do, especially if you, in between detoxes, you continue with a healthy way of eating. Okay, so now we got to the definition of a properly designed detox protocol. So what is a properly designed detox protocol and what is not? Is not a liver or gallbladder flush. Is not a juice fast. Is not a parasite cleanse. Is not a heavy metal chelation program. Those are all good and valid protocols or practices that have their role. But what we are talking about today is none of that. What we are talking today is a well-crafted program, which, number one, as I already explained, will help stop or reduce the exposure to toxins. Us being proactive at looking at our environmental toxicity, lifestyle toxicity, and then, of course, internal toxicity, and making a conscious effort to reduce the influx of toxins. Then, the second step of a properly designed protocol is the elimination of what's already stored. And this one has 3 steps. First, we mobilize the toxins that are stored in our fat cells. And we do that by breaking our own fat cells. We lose fat during this, not muscle. We don't want to lose muscle. We lose fat to lose toxins. Then supporting the liver to properly alchemize those toxic elements. And finally, we want to make sure we excrete them. We eliminate them from our body once they are properly alchemized. I'll explain all that. So again, we already talked about this. Some of the external sources of toxins are the air we breathe. Check your filters in your air conditioning, buy air purifiers for the home, dehumidifiers if you need to, and avoid all those incenses and air fresheners and perfumes, fragrances, synthetic, anything that you will inhale that's not pure. Water, like Jillian said, very important to have water filtration. And I don't know if Miha's still on, but I know she's using the something with K machine, the Japanese that makes all sorts of pH waters. It's fabulous. If not, my favorite filter is the Berkey filter. It has 2-stage filtration. It purifies the water and removes the fluoride and arsenic. Then we look at food. We will look at food greatly during the program. If you can do anything, make it whole foods. You don't want to have to read ingredients. If you have to read ingredients, 3, 4, 5 max. When I look at a list and it has more than 5 ingredients, it's fine print, I put it back on. I don't want to read it. Kitchen cookware, from non-stick pans to plastics, everything has to be turned over. Personal and beauty care products, household cleaners, dry cleaning, paints, flooring, furniture, all of it. Action step. Can you think of one source of toxins that you can tackle today from the list I just mentioned? And you're welcome to unmute. And if you want to commit to one, please.
I have a question, Mihaela. I know that you were posting about the skincare products that you make.
Yes.
And I was just putting lotion on and I was looking at this bottle and it's Youth to the People, which I thought was organic, but I'm not sure. How do you know what to look for in some of this
I
stuff?
have a list inside the program.
Okay, cool.
I forgot the name. This is the Ever something by Beauty Counter. Beauty Counter is an American company who is a big advocate of clean personal care products.
Okay.
Wherever, I forgot the name of but the PDF is in the Facebook group and in the membership platform, which I'm slowly working to upload, to transfer everything from Facebook in there.
Gotcha.
So you will see that. And the cream I make, you can eat it. Basically, all edible ingredients. It doesn't have any preservatives. The preservative is the honey, pretty much. And it's tallow base and some other fats and essential oil, therapeutic grade essential oil. And I think that's the best way for us to go moving forward.
Jillian, I have an app called Yuka, and it looks like a carrot, and you can scan like
Any product,
anything,
right?
and it will give you poor
Grading.
or excellent. And it's funny because sometimes I think something is good and it's not.
Right.
But it's called yucca, like
Yucca.
Yucca, like the
like YUCA,
root.
but then the icon looks like a little orange carrot, but it is
Thank
called
you.
yucca.
Okay.
And sometimes it tells you I don't know, but even for shampoos, for everything, so
And for laundry and cleaning products, I use Melaleuca for my cleaning. For laundry, sometimes I get Melaleuca, but only really the pre-spot to take off spots. The rest I buy from the health store, the ones that are free of all the things, often with no fragrance. If I want to put fragrance, I put few drops of essential oil in the
They say baking soda is really good.
baking
I
soda,
haven't
borax,
changed my
and
cleaning for my
vinegar.
clothes. I've been buying like like what they say is better, but I
Mhm.
haven't done that yet. That's gonna be my next step.
No.
You know what? I used to make organic cleaning supplies. I had a wholesale business in LA, and I have some good recipes. I'll connect with you on that because it's not very
Okay.
hard to do it at all, really.
I
Right.
would love to do that.
I just
Sure.
have to figure out how to buy the lye, where to buy the lye. I save fat from cooking. And I remember my mother used to make soap from fat, for laundry.
Yeah.
And I keep forgetting to ask her how, you have to boil it, but you need to buy the lye, food grade lye,
Yeah.
right? And then you just boil it, it makes that saponification reaction. And I remember it didn't smell nice, but that's what we used to wash clothes growing up. So yeah, it's not so difficult to make it. It's just one other thing we have to make. But you don't have to make it every day. Make a big batch and then you have it for a while.
Sure.
Okay.
Were you saying about air, like air filters? in
Yes, I
your house?
use Air Doctor. I have filters in two of my rooms, but there are other air purifiers, but those are the ones that I use. Has carbon filter and HEPA, not HEPA, HEPA. Yeah.
Got
I think I have the link for that one also in the Facebook group. I put a bunch of resources there.
Okay.
To get in the Facebook group, look at guides. And I can
Gotcha.
walk you ladies through that, but maybe when we start the program. Okay, so action, action, action. Now I want to explain the program because this is what happens in March, basically, for 10 days. So for you to understand the actual step 2, which is eliminating from our body the stored toxins, I created this visual, and it shows that it has this phase has 3 steps. First, we mobilize the toxins, then we biotransform or alchemize them, and then we excrete them. The mobilization means we want to put ourselves in a caloric restricted state so we don't get enough energy from the food. Therefore, our body, to get its energy, starts to burn its own fat stores. When it does that, it unleashes the toxins that are stored inside the fat cells. And how do we achieve this? To time restricted eating or intermittent fasting with a specific amount of food that's calorically calculated. I have a calculator in the program. Each one of you puts their own information and it spits out how many calories you need in a day. On average, just about everybody, if I remember, because most women are about the same, maybe 800 or 900 calories, somewhere in there. We do this by having low fat, low carb, high protein. And I'll explain why high protein in the next slide. We engage in physical activity, 15 to 20 minutes, interval training, can be walking, interval walking, and we also want to sweat it out. This is really more for the excretion part, but we do that from the beginning because all these phases happen simultaneously. It's not like the body goes from one to the other. They just happen like on a cycle, right? The second stage happens in the liver, the biotransformation. We'll talk about that in a second. So here I already explained this slide, the mobilization, what does it mean? How do we do it? How do we achieve that? That's how we achieve it. Boom. Now, this is a crazy diagram, which I don't expect you to learn it or remember it. I just put it for you so you understand the science behind this detox protocol, why we eat what we eat, why we take the supplements we take, why we sweat, why we exercise, why we do what we do. So the biotransformation, that's the scientific term we use in the detox world. I like it more spiritual one, so I call it the alchemization. But anyway, the biotransformation of toxins, what it means? It means the fat-soluble toxins have to enter into the liver. They have to go a series of chemical reactions. Those are hydrogen-oxygen exchange reactions: oxidation, reduction, hydrolysis, hydration. These reactions are meant to convert the fat-soluble toxin into an intermediate metabolite, which, here's the kicker, is much more toxic than the original toxin. It's unstable. We cannot keep it in that state. This is what happens. Now you're going to understand why this is a properly designed detox and a juice cleanse or a liver flush is not. All juice cleanses or liver flushes or fasting not really doesn't even provide this, but most programs that are out there and say, oh, I'm doing a detox, I'm drinking green juices and teas and I'm gonna detoxify, provide the nutrients for this phase. And those are, it's almost like a multivitamin. That's why we add to our protocol a good multivitamin. Riboflavin, niacin, it's all the B vitamins, some glutathione, branch chain amino acids, and phospholipids. Those are the elements, and magnesium. Those are the elements that are required for these chemical reactions. These reactions happen fast. The liver has no difficulty performing this phase. What happens the next phase to take the intermediate metabolites to convert them into safe water soluble elements, safe to be removed from the body, require a totally different type of chemical reaction. We call them conjugation reaction. It's almost like, imagine this very unstable, crazy person. We need to tag them. We put a sticker on them to help them calm down. This is called a conjugation reaction. We add sulfur-containing molecules. So it's sulfation reaction, glucuronidation, glutathione conjugation, acetylation, amino acid conjugation, methylation. Those elements come from animal protein. So no juice cleansing will give you the substrate for this reaction to take place. And if this reaction doesn't take place, you build up intermediary metabolites because the first one is well supported from green juices, but you build up on intermediary metabolites, which get then to be reabsorbed into the system and are responsible for the feeling sick of most detox programs, the headaches, the fatigue, the flu-like symptoms. With the program we are doing, that's minimized to almost none because our protocol is high in protein. We need the animal protein to supply all these amino acids, the NAC, the cysteine, methionine, glutathione, glycine, taurine, glutamine, ornithine, arginine, methyl donor. All of this come from animal protein. Don't worry about all these names. I'm just showing it to you so you understand why we eat animal protein, very little fat so we can break our own, and very little carbs so we stay in the fat burning state. Once we support the liver to go through these phases and we generate the water soluble non-toxic compounds, then it comes the third stage, which is to excrete them from the body. And those are two venues. We'll come back to it. So this I already explained. So how do we achieve? How do we support the liver to biotransform, to go to all these phases from entering into the liver to getting out of the liver? We do that with a strict elimination diet, with only the foods that provide the compounds required for phase 1 and phase 2 of liver biotransformation. And those are the foods from the onion, garlic, and cabbage family, allium and brassica family. Those are the only foods we eat. Sprouted mung beans, because they provide the sulfur containing compounds, and also glutathione. Then, well, where they said high protein, we add a comprehensive multivitamin to make sure we support phase 1 as well, and some few supplements that support any one of those phases. We'll go over the supplements when we start the actual program. But there are supplements that are like coenzyme Q10. We have some binders, mainly for the excretion part. Charcoal. It's I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of the supplements. We also want to exercise, so we increase the caloric deficit, and we add coffee is permitted, black, because there's no dairy products during or eggs during this detox, and certain teas that are also supporting detoxification. And once we are done with this part, we want to support this right here, where you see it says water soluble, and then you have two blue arrows. One says serum, kidney, urine, and the other one says bile and feces. To support that, this is the excretion from the body. To support those two or three venues, we make sure we are properly hydrated, especially because we're going to get in the sauna to support the sweating. To sweat, we want to generate active and passive heating or sweat. Active means we warm up the body internally through physical activity, and then we follow with the passive, which is external heat sauna or car sauna, like I used to do for many years. To support proper elimination, we add fibers, soluble fibers as binders, and bile acid binders. And of course, urine is water and pee. So that's the last step in this elimination process. Here you have a picture of a meal that is totally detox friendly. Sauerkraut. You can make your own. We can take that as a challenge during the month or purchase one. The recipe I provide for making sauerkraut. Steamed, anything from the cabbage family. Here we have broccoli, cauliflower, and Brussels sprouts, and chicken breast. Teas, these are some of the teas that are part of the detox: dandelion, rooibos, and honeybush. Sweating, that's me in the car sweating before I had a sauna, access to a sauna, and walking, grounding, being exercising, preferably outdoors, but indoors also is just as well good, as long as you heat up yourself. Okay, so now I talk fast and a lot, but don't worry, all of this information is going to be reviewed again when we start the program. What we learned so far. We learned the nature of toxins, right? How they're soluble, water soluble, fat soluble, what was the other one? Volatile. And how they enter the body through nose, through skin, through oral ingestion. What are the best ways to assess our toxicity? Questionnaires, better and way more cost effective than laboratory tests. And we understand that toxic overload affects our health and the way we age. And then I reviewed what a properly designed detox protocol is comprised of. We want to reduce exposure, the influx of toxins from the environment and lifestyle. We want to mobilize the toxins that are stored inside our fat cells. We want to biotransform them, support the liver to go through all the 4 phases of biotransformation, and successfully excrete them from the body, because we don't want them to stay even in that water soluble state, because they can revert back to if they're not excreted from the body, they will be reverted back into fat soluble state and stored again in the body. Here is an example. I have a bunch of testimonials on the sales page, but here is one. Once, let's see, I'll take it, starting weight at 204. In all honesty, this morning weight was 190. So excited to see the scale move in the right direction. So excited to feel so awake, calm, confident, and clear on my daily mission to seize the day. This is because we have daily chat support. This was one of the messages that came through the chat. Here's another one that someone lady that did the program posted about the program on her page. It says no gimmicks, no juicing, no shakes, no starving. Indeed, you don't starve during this detox. As a matter of fact, it was difficult to eat all that I was planning to eat on the original plan. I now wake up each morning easily and energized. I'm excited daily with intention, and I am happy. No hormonal rain cloud lingering around my head, waiting to take me out at any chance. I feel in control, and I'm choosing to embrace me and my needs first each day without guilt. I am a more mentally and physically active mother and wife as a result of eating food to fuel my body versus eating food to my emotional blanket or pleasure zone. I know this is the best choice I have made for myself in a long time. Check her out. Blow your below, not blow, below for yourself. She's real and sincere. And this, I didn't read the start, but this is when the program was called just Smart Safe Detox. Every time I offer it, I kind of rebrand it. I give a different name for variety. This year is Age in Reverse Detox, to keep it simple. So now let's ask if you have any questions before I talk about the actual program. Who wants to?
I have questions. When you talked about, I'm not a supplements person, so when you were talking about all those supplements, I was like, ee. So I'm assuming you will give us a list of exactly
Oh, yes,
what
yes,
you,
yes.
because I'm, again, not a huge supplement person.
I have to tell you, Gloria, from this program, I love it. It's super fun, super easy. Once you understand what you need to do and you plan it, 10 days, you don't even have to think. You just
Okay, I
do.
hope.
But the thing that I like or dislike the most is the supplements. But we have to take some of the supplements to support, especially the binders are important to make sure
They come out.
especially the bile binders, because the ones that go through sweat, we support them pretty well with the sauna and the exercise. We sweat them out. But what happens, a good number of the toxins get trapped into the bile salt. Bile is a very expensive product that our body makes. The bile has its own circuitry in the body, the enterohepatic circulation. The body doesn't want to lose the bile. It wants to recirculate it, and I can't remember now how many times it recirculates it. In the other video that I have in the group, it says that maybe 17 times before you poop it out. So what we do, because we don't want the toxins with the bile to go back to the intestine and to the not to the intestine, back to the liver, we want them to stay in the intestine and to be pooped out. We take especially the bile stealers, the chitosan and the pectin, the modified citrus pectin. Those are the ones that steal the bile. Then fibers and charcoal are more like make sure we poop. So it's very, very well formulated. I did not invented this program. What I invented is the group support, the 1 month, or created. The actual protocol is created by Dr. Walsh. And when I took his program, he had a research paper for, not one, multiple research papers for every single element of the program. That's why I absolutely fell in love with, because I saw that it's science-based and it's effective.
Okay, I just, like you said, if you give me the list, I'm good. I just want to
The
make
list,
sure.
everything is, you'll have the list of the foods, one single recipe in the entire program, one soup. Everything else you can just steam and make the fish, the chicken, the turkey, whichever. It's all white meat because we want to keep it low fat. So we burn our own fat. It's super
So
simple.
there's no red meat during this whole.
No red meat, no eggs, no dairy for 10 days.
Okay, I can do that.
Absolutely. For 10 days, we can do that. It's white because it's lower fat, no skin. Otherwise, your body takes the energy from the fat you eat and minimizes the fat you burn and the toxins you eliminate. If somebody has severe detox symptoms, then we can bump up the fat a little bit. So we slow down. We can taper the rate at which the body releases the toxins and is able to process them. And so I have the list for the supplements with the link from full script. So everybody, that's why we take 10 days before we kick off with the actual detox to prepare everything, to get the supplements, to look at our schedules. So we look when we're gonna do, because ideally the exercise is backed by the sweating, the sauna, because you warm up your body by walking or running or swimming or whatever you do, and then you follow it with the sauna. And that's it. And then you follow the food and supplements protocol, and you don't have to worry about anything else. For 10 days, you pre-measure the foods, everything is done. The weekend before, we prepare everything, and then we just follow. Anything else? Any more questions? Mary, you wanted to say something?
Oh, gosh. Hold on.
I hear you.
Oh, you hear me? Okay. Oh, no, good. No, just, I
Maybe
gotta,
you can say something because you've done it, what, twice already?
yes. So again, it is simple to do. It's just, I call it more of rebooting my taste buds more so that I lose the bad habits of sugar and all the dairy and all that stuff that I do enjoy, but just kind of reboot it with making good choices. And it is one of a very easy program to follow and stick to. So it's nice to have
Especially because
a
you don't go
beginning and an
hungry.
end. So it's not like, but then you continue those good habits when you make the choices later on too.
Yes, I agree. And I agree about taking a break from those things we love so much.
Yeah.
Chocolate, dark chocolate, no matter how dark it is, if you eat it every day, you have a problem, Mihaela. I'm
Yeah.
telling myself. And cream.
Yep. So it's,
Okay, so I can explain a little bit the structure. So the Aging Reverse Detox, it's a 1-month group coaching program with the detox built in right smack in the middle. So first 10 days, we prepare our minds and kitchens and schedule everything we need to do. We start to eliminate, that's another thing. We all eat what we eat.